What's up everyone, I'm Nolan from EmpireLUG, and today I'm going to be reviewing Boba Fett's Throne Room. First things first, huge thanks to LEGO for sending this review copy over. But now moving on to the set itself, it retails for 100 USD, has 7 minifigures, and comes with 732 pieces. As we can see, this is a new box design for 2022. They kept the same greebling from years past over here, but there's a new diagonal green stripe running down to the Boba Fett and Fennec Shand logo at the bottom left, which is similar to that of the Dark Trooper set that has, I think, Mando and an orange stripe running down. Here we have the back of the box, and as you can see right off the bat, this set seems pretty play feature heavy. Looks like we've got a lot of moving parts showcased by these little boxes on the back. So that's pretty nice. The entire set, it would seem, can open up in multiple ways. So that'll be fun to build and check out. Another thing to notice is that this is one of those thumb tab opening boxes, which I find a little unfortunate. Those are always harder to open and keep the box in perfect condition with, but we'll see how that goes. Alright, here I have opened up the box. One thing I do want to note, I mentioned that the thumb tabs are usually harder to open. I just realized you can actually just cut the glue pretty easily and open that box pretty nicely. Maybe that's how you're supposed to do it, not how I've been doing it. But here we have the bags. Looks like we've got 5. I stand corrected, there are 6 bags, all of which are numbered. And here we have a very, very vertical instruction booklet. I'm not sure what's up with that. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Well, it is a normal instruction booklet besides that. Here we have a sticker sheet. Just a few stickers on there. And yeah, let's build this set. Alright, so here I have the figures lined up along the exterior of the set. All 7 of them are going to be exclusive except for the Boba Fett, which is the same from the previous waves we've gotten. First up, here we have Fennec Shand, who is wearing a black jumpsuit with orange highlights on it. She has an extended rifle with a lightsaber hilt on the end of it there. And then she also has a double-sided face, as you can see here. I'm not entirely sure when we see that expression from her throughout the shows, but there it is. And then we have this interesting hairpiece, which I don't know if the texture of it really suits her character. I don't think it does, but overall it looks decent, and I'd say it's a pretty decent figure. Next up, we've got Boba Fett himself. He also has a modified blaster that is just a blaster mold with a lightsaber hilt on the end of it. It's the same figure as the previous sets we've gotten with him. There's nothing new there. He has very nice detailed arm printing, leg printing, and here's the face we get with him. Some nice white streaks and wrinkles showing the characters aging in the show. No double-sided face, but he does have some more white streaks on the back of his head. That's nice to see. And then we also get some nice back printing here. Overall, Boba is a very detailed figure, and I know there have been complaints about his dark green on sand green color scheme, but honestly I think it works pretty well, and this is a good looking figure. Next up here we have Bib Fortuna, who has a new head mold and new print from the last time we saw him. He's got a little staff, which is again a modified lightsaber hilt on a bar here. He's got a little bit of back printing here. He does have a double-sided head, which is a little bit concerned, probably after Boba takes over his palace. And yeah, I think this is a really nice looking figure. I love the big headpiece we have here. However, I do wish this headpiece here was the rubber material that LEGO sometimes uses, like with the Quarren, which we will see later on, because it would provide a little bit more bend when you lift the arms, for example, and it just feels like a nicer material to me. Overall, very good figure. I really like what they have going on here. And next up we have this Gamorrean guard. The main mold, which is the head and body included in this figure, is the same as the previous version we've got, but if it's not broken, don't fix it, because this is a very nice mold all around. I really like it. And then we do have a new leg print since the last time we saw this figure, which is brown as the base color instead of olive. And then he just has a little axe, which is the axe piece connected to a bar. Overall, really love this figure. I think the molding on it is very nicely done. Next up here we have the Weequay guard. Overall, this is a pretty boring figure compared to the rest. On its own, I think it also is somewhat of a boring figure for 2022. But there is some nice printing going on here. I'm not a fan of how they split up his hair braids here in the back. It just looks very wonky. And at first I didn't even notice that it was supposed to be a continuation of that. So really not a fan of that there. Then of course, as I'm sure you've noticed, there is no leg printing on this figure, which is a little unfortunate. But I do think the head print looks nice and could be used to build some pretty interesting minifigures for any mocks. Next up we have the Thelan Dancer here, and I believe this character's made its way around a few Star Wars scenes. Not entirely sure, but a very vibrant, bright figure here. We have a bright pink hairpiece and some very nice torso printing all around. And she does have a double-sided face here, which is a lot more angry than her, I would assume, dancing face. And finally, we have my personal favorite figure from this set, the Quarren. I just really love the headpiece they gave him. It's a nice rubber, so that's always nice to see in my opinion. I really like the rubber molds LEGO does sometimes. Some nice printing on the back here, some nice printing on the legs, and if I remove the head, you can see that this print is going to be pretty useful for pretty much anything. It's very generic yet still detailed. And yeah, that is the figure selection for Boba Fett's throne room. Now moving on to the set itself, here we have the exterior, which would be the big round area we can see distinctly in the palace and this tower over here on the left side, and then just a little extension over there on the right side, which I don't think is supposed to be any building in particular. Starting off with the left side of the set, here we have the door with the eye that we famously see in Return of the Jedi here. And that can just pop out like that. It's not really a play feature, I suppose it is, but its main purpose is to let you pick up the door here in the back, which, as you can see, it's a little hard to get this all the way up. You kind of have to use your other hands and then push it up all the way, because as you'll see later, there's a little area that's blocking your finger from lifting this up all the way. So that's a little bit weird, but overall I like the idea. It slides pretty nicely. Directly above that you'll see this little thing right here. You can move it down like so. I'm assuming this is supposed to be some sort of turret. Most of my knowledge is from Return of the Jedi, where we don't actually see above the top of the door. So if this is something from Book of Boba Fett, I don't remember it. But it seems to be a turret. It can rotate, and it has these two black torch holding pieces right here. So I'm assuming that's what that is supposed to be. Moving on down to the right here, we've got this little snake. Just a nice little part inclusion there. It is a little weird because the snake is very bright red compared to the rest of the monotone tan, against the rest of the set, so it does stick out a bit, but it's easily removable, just held in there by a clip. Next we have the main circular shape of the palace here, with some brown cylinder pieces up here that I would just assume act as a vent for the top of the building. Nothing much going on with the exterior here. On top we do have these ladder pieces that act as, I would also assume, vents. I really like that, and I liked building that because you actually build it just clipped in once and then flip it down. So that was just a nice little way to build that. I think it looks really good on the top of the roof there. Overall, I'm a little disappointed with the roof. It has some weird shaping going on. You do get some nice parts, however, a few tiles, some new or new-ish dark tan curved wedges here, so it's not the best, not the worst. Likewise with the roof up here, could be better, but not complaining too much. You do get some nice parts. And then finally on the right building over here, you get this 1x4x6 panel with the window in it, a little ladder here which I think is also supposed to represent a vent, and then a barrel on top here, and I would assume that this is supposed to be just sort of a palace roof where you would stand on, store stuff in the barrel. Overall, the roofs all have these cylinder, not really cones, but curved cones on top of them, making it look more uniform, so I do like that inclusion. Overall, the exterior is pretty blocky, and it's not the best they could have done, but I think overall it looks decent. The set also has these hinges on the sides so that you can rotate the tower and this room here, and then it's a little hard to do, but you can clip them in and so they won't move anymore. And now I've flipped the build around to the back. You can see the interiors of all of the rooms I just showed you from the exterior. First thing to note is all 6 of the stickers actually went in this small vicinity right here. It's kind of interesting. They're all around the throne, and this is the main building, so I guess I'll start here. You have, of course, Boba Fett or Bib Fortuna's throne, depends who's in power at the time. And around it, you just have some little details, like there's a crate back here, there's one of these drinking things, I would assume, not entirely sure, but we do see stuff like that around the palace. Cup over here and another crate on the left side. And then we have the main play feature of this room, and I guess the main play feature of the entire set, where you can slide out the entire throne like so. And I think this is supposed to represent 2 things. Number 1 being the giant grate that is over the Rancor pit. However, it doesn't really make sense for it to be sliding out like that, because that's not how it slides in the show or in Return of the Jedi. So that's that. But then by sliding this out, we also reveal a few extra blasters and what I think are credits. We have these gunmetal ingots here, which is a really neat part for mock builders. Very happy with those. So yeah, it's just like a little storage area down there, and the throne slides back in very easily like that. The next play feature of the set also is built into the throne. So here we have Bib Fortuna sitting on what is soon to be Boba Fett's throne, and here, as you can see, we have this very prominent lever. They did not do as good a job hiding it as they could have, and they have done with other sets, but you flip this lever forward or down, and Bib Fortuna will pop out because of this little piece here. Now, that is the first time that I've done this, and he's actually fallen forward, which I think is the desired effect here. The other 2 times he's just kind of popped out of his chair and sat in it, or popped to the side. So it's not a 100% play feature here. Maybe you'll be more lucky than I was, but that's that. It works okay for what it's supposed to do. And then very similar to that, over here on the right side, we have a play feature where you can put a figure here, and you might have noticed that there was a gear over here on the exterior. You just kind of do that. there's almost no movement here. It's enough to throw a figure off balance, but not enough to, you know, throw the figure or anything like that. And when you turn the gear too much, it's actually not axled in entirely, so the gear actually moves on the axle a little, and that just feels a little bit weird. Over here we just have some more detailing. Cup down here. There's a lot of cups scattered about in this set. There's another one over here in the corner. Here we've got a table, some chairs. This is just a little control panel. Up here we have some binoculars that are positioned in the tower, which makes sense. And that's essentially everything. Another thing worth noting is you get 3 of these thermal detonators throughout the set. They tell you to put them all in one crate, but of course you can use them as you wish. As you can also barely see, right behind the little weapon storage in the middle there is a cooking rack of sorts. And let me see if I can get a better angle here. It does turn the chicken, which is hard to see. It's gonna be very hard for bigger hands to get into the spaces here, and that's just because the spaces aren't that big. Overall, it feels like they built this set a little more horizontally than necessary. Of course, kids who are the target audience of this set won't find as much of a problem there, but that's just something I noticed. Now I'll just talk about the set as I'm attempting to set up some minifigures. So if I had to give this set a number out of 10, I think I'd give it a 6.5 or 7. I think overall it's a playset, and it's really good at being, well, not really good, but pretty good at being a playset. It has multiple play features, as you saw, a lot of little interactive details, more so than a lot of other playsets we get. But I would not recommend this set as a display model, especially from the backside, because it just looks very chunky and disoriented, so not a huge fan of that. The minifigures definitely do give it an edge though. Now considering that, I think I'll actually raise it to maybe a 7.5, because a lot of these figures are just really solid figures. So I guess that's one redeeming factor about the set, not to say it's a bad set. Overall, a good set. I do think it's a little overpriced at 100 USD, but that could be worse, and you do get quite the minifigure selection here. So that's going to be it. Thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to check out more reviews on the EmpireLUG channel, and once again, thank you to LEGO for sending this set for review.